Hey there, guys, and happy Monday. I cannot believe it's the first day of school, and I cannot believe I'm not there, but I had some unforeseen situation, but I will be back Thursday, and I am excited to see you guys. So thank you for filling out the student information sheet because those will go in a binder for me along with other documents of you guys so I can keep track of specific things. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is, as a 6th or 7th grade STEAM student of mine, you will be signing our policies contract. You know that when you agreed to this class, you did have to apply. So there are certain stipulations, obviously behavior-wise, that you're going to have to follow, but academically, there are certain things that you're going to have to be held to. Otherwise, you will, one, be put on probation, or maybe even be put into just a regular advanced class if something continues to happen, and we're going to talk about that now. So this is a little bit of a boring part because I do need to read this word for word because you are going to be writing your name here, signing it, and dating it, and this is sort of your binding contract as a STEAM student. Then you're going to be taking this home, and you are going to have your parent or guardian read it. They're going to have to put their name, sign in, date it as well. So let's go ahead and get started because this is a little bit lengthy. So what I want you to do, because there is one little detail that we need to correct. So if you have a writing utensil now, go ahead and get that out because I need for you guys to make that little correction, which was a slight oversight on my part. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start reading, and as I'm reading it aloud, please go ahead and follow along with me because it's very important that if you're signing this, that you understand what is being said. All right, 2019-2020 STEAM policies. As you begin your year as a STEAM student, you will have many questions. Questions are essential to being successful in school and life and in these classes. However, questions alone are not enough. You must also rely on the resources around you as well as your ability to discover and to explore. Never stop asking questions and searching for understanding from others as well as from within. The STEAM Acceleration Program is designed to challenge students who have already demonstrated their ability and willingness to question, to learn, and to excel in their core subject areas. You and your classmates will work hard to express yourselves in several modes as speakers before a public audience and as active readers and thinkers. Together, we can make this year your best yet. While you will be challenged, we are here to help you succeed. Goals. The STEAM program's objectives are to significantly increase the number of students who are able to access and complete college-level work like AP before leaving high school. Improve the college readiness of all students. Benefits. The STEAM program is about achieving results for all students. Here's how the program is designed to accomplish that. Engaging resources meet students where they are. Meaningful feedback shows teachers where each student needs additional support and focus. Effective practice helps every student to build, strengthen, and master content, knowledge, and skills. Flexibility and instructional resources honors the skill and authority of teachers. Challenging coursework emphasizes key literacy, quantitative, and analysis skills across all 4 disciplines and reinforces these skills in multiple classroom experiences. So as a STEAM student, you're going to have your 4 core classes. First up is ELA. The STEAM English Language Arts class focuses on the close reading, analytical writing, and language skills that have immediate relevance for students across their current courses and that are most essential for their future work in high school, college, and careers. Go ahead and turn the page. Text takes center stage in the classroom, where students engage in close, critical reading of a wide range of materials. The course trains the reader to observe the small details within a text to arrive at a deeper understanding of the whole. It also trains the writer to focus on crafting complex sentences as the foundation for writing to facilitate complex thinking and communicate ideas clearly. Areas of focus. The class emphasizes the following instructional priorities. Reading closely. Students read closely and analyze a range of complex literary and informational texts. Valuing evidence. Students value textual evidence and incorporate it effectively in writing and speaking. Noticing language choices. Students understand how writers and speakers use specific words and sentences to move the thoughts, emotions, and actions of readers and listeners. Next up, we have your science class. This STEAM science class emphasizes the integration of content with science practices, powerful reasoning tools that support students in analyzing the natural world around them. This ability is one of the hallmarks of scientific literacy and it cultivates a more sustainable pathway to numerous college and career opportunities in science. This course focuses deeply on the foundational knowledge in the three main branches of science: earth, life, and physical, while gaining skills that matter most in preparing students for subsequent coursework in science. Rather than understanding content topics in isolation, students will make meaningful connections between the structures, processes, and interactions that exist in the three main branches of science, while gaining a real-world perspective in the form of analyzing current scientific discoveries and learning about scientific careers. In this class, students will actively participate in analyzing real-world phenomena, apply science practices to construct and revise their knowledge, regularly collaborate with their peers in dialogue, investigations, and problem solving. Areas of focus. The class's instructional resources focus on the following key instructional shifts. Go ahead and turn the page. Emphasis on analytical reading and writing. Students engage in analytical reading and writing to gain, retain, and apply scientific knowledge. Focus on cooperative learning. Classroom instruction will be centered on working cooperatively with peers by utilizing strategies such as Kagan cooperative structures and collaboration during tasks such as labs and class activities. Attention to modeling. Students go beyond just labeling diagrams to modeling biological processes to demonstrate and revise understanding of key patterns, interactions, and relationships. Now, history. The STEAM history class focuses deeply on the concepts and skills that have maximum value for college, career, and civic life. STEAM World History for 6th grade. Primary content for this course pertains to the world's earliest civilizations, to the ancient and classical civilizations of Africa, Asia, and Europe. Students will be exposed to the multiple dynamics of world history, including economics, geography, politics, and religion and philosophy. Students will study methods of historical inquiry and primary and secondary historical documents. Civics, 7th grade. The primary content for the course pertains to the principles, functions, and organization of government, the origins of the American political system, the roles, rights, responsibilities of the United States citizens, and methods of active participation in our political system. The course is embedded with strong geographic and economic components to support civic education instruction. And then when you get to 8th grade, American history. Primary content emphasis for this course pertains to the study of American history from the exploration and colonization period to the Reconstruction period following the Civil War. Students will be exposed to the historical, geographic, political, economic, and sociological events which influenced the development of the United States and the resulting impact on world history. So that students can clearly see the relationship between cause and effect in historical events, students should have the opportunity to explore those fundamental ideas and events which occurred after Reconstruction. Areas of focus. This class emphasizes the following instructional priorities. Evaluating evidence. Students acquire knowledge by evaluating evidence from a wide range of primary and secondary sources. Go ahead and turn the page. Incorporating evidence. Students demonstrate command of quantitative, qualitative, and spatial data by effectively incorporating them into written and oral arguments. Explaining historical and geographic relationships. Students explain relationships among events and people by marshaling evidence for causality, correlation, continuity, and change over time. Now, math. The STEAM mathematics class focuses deeply on the concepts and skills that are most essential for college and career success. So mastery of linear relationships is a major focus of this course. Linear functions and linear equations are the basic building blocks of many advanced topics in math. This class is streamlined to give students the time and space to thoroughly master these concepts and skills. The course emphasizes these essential practices for building math muscle and confidence. Building conceptual understanding, building procedural fluency, creating, analyzing, and using mathematical models, crafting mathematical arguments. In this class, students will work with their peers to build math knowledge, persevering through challenges, and making important conceptual connections, use authentic applications of math to model real-world problems, and acquire the tools needed for making, testing, and refuting and supporting mathematical arguments. Areas of focus. STEAM math instructional resources focus on the following key instructional shifts. Emphasis on linear functions and linear equations. Students develop deep and robust understanding of linear relationships in procedural, conceptual, and applied settings. Focus on authentic applications. Students employ mathematics to model and explain authentic scenarios. Concentration on creating mathematical arguments. Students use evidence to craft mathematical conjectures and prove or disprove them. Go ahead and turn the page. So those are your four core class descriptions, areas of focus, so that you have an understanding of the overall reasoning behind them. And now we're jumping into something new. As a student, you have been used to very traditional grading, 90 A, 95 A, 70 C. But that's not how it's going to go here in the STEAM program, because we want to be focused more on the standards and skills and making sure that they truly equate the work that is provided by you all. And what we're doing is moving to what's called standards-based mastery grading. So what you'll see at the top is a flow chart for what is standards-based grading. Traditionally, you are lectured, given notes, taught, you have a quiz, then you have maybe more teaching, and then you have an assessment, and then you're given a grade. That's not what standards-based mastery grading is about. As you can see, there's a mix of practicing, making mistakes, sort of failing forward, figuring out why you made mistakes, reteaching, getting an extra chance to redo it, maybe having an assessment to see where you're at and what you need to be taught more before you have that last piece to truly demonstrate your mastery. So as you can see, there's an advantage to standards-based grading where redos are fully incorporated because we want you all to master those skills. So what does this mean for your grade? If you look at the bottom, there is a scale 0 through 5, and because we know it's going to be a hard shift to get your brain away from, normal percentages and ABC grades, on the right-hand side, you will see what those scale scores equate to if it were a percentage grade, going from not meeting expectations all the way to mastery. And the great thing is in our classrooms, we're going to be providing you with examples of what that looks like. We're going to be providing you with feedback as to how to move up to that next step of mastery. So if you take a look at the bottom, it says rubrics, mastery examples, and or feedback will always be provided to students for skills taught, so that expectations are clearly understood of where their work fell on the mastery grading scale, why they received that score, and how to make improvements to move closer to a 5, which is mastery. So this is really exciting because for those of you who maybe have a bad day and you don't score so well, or something happened and you're just not on your A game, that's great because you are going to have a chance for redos and the ability to work through this flow chart to truly show what your actual abilities are when it comes to those standards and skills. All right, go ahead and turn the page. All right, so when it comes to your contracts, this page is probably one of the most important to pay attention to because this is a huge part of your academic contract of whether or not you stay in our STEAM program or have to be placed in a regular advanced class. So let's take a look. Grading policies. Students who score below a 70% or a 2 on our grading scale, so if you look back to that scale, 70% equates to a 2 on the grading scale, must, this is not an option, must redo or retake products and assessments. However, a redo or retake is dependent upon completion of all assignments on the mastery tracking sheet. A redo retake is dependent upon completion of all assignments. I'm repeating that again, in order to redo or retake. So if a student has any of their assignments incomplete, they will not be permitted to do a redo or retake. So what does that mean? You get an actual grade back because you're going to have several practices and assignments throughout the quarter, but we're going to be taking certain products that are going to be representative of those particular skills and standards, and you're getting a grade for that. So if comes time for an assessment or a writing piece and maybe you tanked and you got a 70 or below, you have to redo or retake that. It is a requirement. But you cannot redo or retake it if any of your assignments on your tracking sheet are not done. Because hello, if you might have gotten a 70 on that, yeah, maybe you had a bad day and tanked, but it also could be the fact that you haven't had enough practice with it, and having not completed all assignments might be showing that. So again, you must retake anything that is a 70 or below, but you cannot unless all of your assignments in your tracking sheet, which you're going to be seeing soon, what that looks like, are completed. Now, here's where we're going to take our pencil and make a correction because this next thing is so important. It says, A student has 1 week to redo or retake an assessment or product during a scheduled time with the STEAM teachers, and all assignments must be completed prior to the redo or retake. So if you get handed back a writing piece or an assessment and it is a 70 or below, you have not only 1 week to get it made up, but before you can do that, in that week, you have got to make sure all assignments are completed, or you can't even redo it. So again, 1 week to redo that assignment or that assessment, and also making sure that all assignments are updated. Now, here's the first part of your potential contract issue. Once and it says 2, I want you to go ahead and scratch out 2 because that was an oversight on my part, and put 1 next to it. Once the 1 week has lapsed, the unresolved redo or retake grade stays in the grade book permanently. So again, you get a paper back, you get an assessment back, you got a 70 or below, you have to redo or retake it. Say you have 2 assignments that aren't completed, you have to first complete those 2 assignments within that week and take the redo or retake, or it stays that 70 or below. You cannot redo or retake it at that point. So please remember that it is your responsibility to fill out the redo retake form, get it to me, and be using your time wisely for that redo or retake, whether it's something that you do at home. If you need extra help, come in during Tiger Time to any of those teachers to get that extra help, because 1 week, and after that, it stays in the grade book as that 70 or below. Now, next step to the contract, looking at that 3rd paragraph under grading policy says, if a student has 3 or more unresolved redos or retakes at the end of a 9 weeks, that student will be placed on probation. If that student has any unresolved redo or retakes by the following progress report, that student will be removed from the STEAM class and placed into a regular advanced class. So what does that mean? We are about to start the first 9 weeks of school. Say that you end up with, a 70, a 60, a 70, and a 70. Well, you've got to make those up within that 1 week time that you get it back. And if, say, you're like, I'm not going to worry about it. I don't care. I don't care if I have a 70. Well, guess what? In the first 9 weeks, if you have 3 or more, you go on probation, and you're going to be required to most likely come in for extra help in Tiger Time with whatever core class that you are consistently getting that 70 below in. And then, say we start the second 9 weeks, just one 70 or below gets you kicked out, guys. We are serious. This was a program that you applied for. And if you are not taking it serious, and if you are struggling and not getting help, that is on you. You have got to ask. What did we talk about in the syllabus? Ask questions, seek help, seek guidance. It is up to you to realize that this is no joke. And this is a privilege. There are going to be some amazing things happening in the STEAM program. So many privileges that you will have as a STEAM program member, but you have to follow the contract and the guidelines. So anytime that you are struggling, you got to get that help, because 3 unresolved 70s that don't get made up in the time that they're supposed to and all assignments made up gets you on probation. Then if you get just 1 in that next progress time, you are going to be placed in a regular advanced class. So I hope you understand the severity of this. All right, moving on to the next part of your contract, plagiarism. Plagiarism policy. Plagiarism is using another person's thoughts, words, ideas, and accomplishments without proper acknowledgement or documentation. It is an unconscionable offense and a non-negotiable breach of ethics. In keeping with this policy, students will receive a 0 from me for the plagiarized work and meet with a UMS administrator for further disciplinary action. Depending on the offense, a student may be removed from the STEAM program and placed into a regular advanced class. The following plagiarism statement and guidelines were shared by colleague Terry Murphy, PhD. The successful functioning of the academic community demands honesty, which is the respect for both ideas and persons. There is the expectation that work will be independently thoughtful and responsible as to sources of information and inspiration. Honesty is an appropriate consideration in other ways as well, including but not limited to the responsible use of library resources, responsible conduct in examinations, and the responsible use of the internet. Some examples of cheating and/or plagiarism include, but are not limited to, the following items. Number 1, asking for or giving another student information during a test or quiz. Number 2, copying another student's answers or information on classwork or various out-of-class assignments. Number 3, copying answers from another student's paper or intentionally allowing someone to copy from one's own paper during a test or quiz. Number 4, using materials prohibited by the instructor during a test or quiz. Number 5, changing answers on a previously graded test or quiz in order to have the grade revised. Number 6, copying material exactly or using material in essence without providing appropriate documentation. Number 7, copying or falsifying a project or assignment, including computer programs in either flash drive or hard copy form. Number 8, allowing someone else to compose or rewrite a student's assignment. Number 9, stealing, buying, selling, or otherwise providing terms, papers, projects, or assignments. Note, if you are ever unsure about what constitutes plagiarism or about the acceptability of work you are doing, it is your responsibility. Ask me before you turn your work in. I will always be happy to assist you. And I get it. Sometimes our friends are struggling or behind and they want your help. But guys, like, people need to realize you are now responsible for yourself. You are in middle school, so if you need help, you need to ask your teachers, not your friends, because this is one sure way that you could potentially get yourself in trouble. You've got to be doing your own original work. All right, so next up, absences and makeup work. Attendance is vital to succeeding in these courses because so much depends upon discussion and classwork. Unfortunately, absences are sometimes unavoidable. If you are absent, abide by the following guideline. It is your responsibility to get your missed assignments and make up all classwork. Behind here is our makeup work wall. So when you are absent, there will be something printed with your name on it. It is your responsibility to grab it, to make sure you understand it. And if you need extra help, you need to come see me during Tiger Time or schedule an appointment before or after school. But this is our makeup work wall, and it is your responsibility to know that you've got to get your work. Acquire 3 study buddies during the first week of the course. Write their names, phone numbers, and email addresses in your planner, and make a 3-way agreement in which you all commit to provide notes for class in case any of you miss class. All missed work that is handed in will receive a 0 until, or that's not handed in, will receive a 0 until it's remedied. Clearly, study buddies are highly valuable. Life happens, you get sick, family, trips and things that are scheduled happen. But guys, you've got to make sure that you get what you need. And that's why I highly suggest getting 3 people's names, numbers, and email addresses so that when we're working in our interactive notebooks and we have notes one day for a mini lesson, whatever it may be, you've got to make sure that you get that. And by having at least 3 people in your class that you know you can rely on and to get information from is such a very, very smart thing to do. You will have the same number of days to hand in this daily work as you were absent. Long-term assignments, like your double entry journal reading schedules, are due on the original due date regardless of absences. Again, there are extenuating circumstances sometimes, so always come see me so that we can talk about that. If you are absent from class but come to school late or otherwise, all work due on that day is still due. You may either come by class and turn it in to us, or you may drop it off at the front office to be placed in our mailboxes. So if you think, oh, Mrs. Claus's double entry journals due this Friday, so I'm not going to come to her class and I'll just come late so that I can have the excuse that I wasn't here. Nope, that's not going to cut it. If you come to school later in the day, you have to come by and give us that work. It is due. Extra help. One of the most important skills that you can acquire during your lifetime is the ability to ask questions and seek out answers. I will always do my best to help you understand something or to clarify an assignment. I will be more than happy to meet with you anytime before or after school by appointment only. And then obviously in Tiger Time, that is another place that you can get that extra help and seek out those answers. Guys, we personally expect every student to come to class prepared, ready to engage themselves in meaningful learning. Every student to propose ideas, to make guesses, to relate a story, to question assumptions, and to add their own 2 cents to the world of ideas every day. Every student to expect me to accept nothing less than excellence from both myself and my students, and every student to treat class members, including myself, with kindness and respect. This year, you will be challenged in new ways. You will be given choices and decisions to make, and you will enjoy the consequences of your choices. Believe in who you are, work hard. This is a privilege. Your mind is a gift. Use it and grow and bring the world with you. All right, so what I want you to do right now is put this in a safe place. If you have your seam binder, you can put it in behind your yellow divider, which is where we keep all STEAM documents that are for team-wide items, because this is going to be staying in your binder behind the yellow one. But you need to bring this home to your parent. If you do not have your STEAM binder, put it in a safe place, because this needs to go home with you, because they are also going to need to sign this. So right now, our guest teacher, if they're not already passed out, is going to pass this form out to you. And what I'm going to do is read the top here, and once I do, you all are going to put your name neatly, sign it, and date it. It says, I have read the above policies and hereby agree to abide by the rules and regulations laid out in this document and in the UMS student planner. By signing this syllabus, I understand the grading policies of the course and my responsibilities as a student to stay organized and focused in order to be successful. In addition, I understand the Lake County Public Schools Honor Code. Should I decide not to abide by the rules and regulations as stated in this course syllabus, Code of Conduct Handbook, and Student Planner, I will accept the consequences outlined therein. So right now, I want everybody to take a moment to neatly, so I can read it, print your first and last name, sign it, and if for some reason you don't know how to sign in cursive, whatever your signature is at this point, that's what you need to put. And then go ahead and put today's date right there or above date. Once you've done that, our guest teacher is going to come around, and no, he's not going to come around because you need to take this home as well. My bad. So both of these need to go home today, and they need to be in your binder at all times. This is going to be in your binder at all times behind that yellow divider, because I'm going to hole punch these, so they're already hole punched for you. And this, after you have printed, signed, and dated it, this needs to go in a safe place home too, because your parent or guardian needs to read the bottom part, and they need to do the same thing. They're going to print, sign, and date it, and bring it back no later than this Friday. If you bring it back tomorrow or Wednesday, our guest teacher will collect these and put them in a safe place for me. But you have to have this in by Friday. I will be back Thursday, and I will be here Friday, so you can hand it in to me as well then if you'd like. All right, so the only other thing is each time I go over something, if you have a question, I'm going to leave sticky notes for our guest teacher. And over there on my wall, it says teachers to-dos. If you have questions about this policies packet or anything about it, put your question with your first and last name so I can get that answer back to you. And remember, do not ever be scared to ask questions. I never want you to feel like you don't understand something. I want to clarify it. All right, guys. Now I'm going to go ahead and end this video so that we can do something a little bit fun after all that boring reading and listening. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now, and we're going to move on to the next item.